With us now is Henry Cuellar, the Democratic congressman, a member of the Problem Solvers Caucus. Congressman, what do you think of this Mayorkas move? Impeach the guy.
Look, it's not going to happen. It might pass here in the House, but it's not going to happen in the Senate. Look, we got to be focusing on what needs to be done. I find it interesting that my Republican colleagues, except for two that are still here in Congress, every single Republican voted no on the last two Homeland Appropriation dollars that added 2.5. So they don't want to fund it, but now they want to impeach the secretary. I think what we ought to focus on is on the Senate deal and see if we can support that or maybe even make it better.
A lot of them are chafing, maybe under orders from Donald Trump, at this, plan that has bipartisan support. But Oklahoma Senator Lankford has already said he's kind of, losing faith that it can get done because of the overwhelming influence of Trump forces saying, nix it, don't even try it.
Well, it's unfortunate that one person can dictate to the most important body in the world, that is the U.S. Congress, both in the House and the Senate. It's unfortunate. I mean, even the Speaker has said that we ought to wait for President Trump to get reelected. I mean, if there's a issue now, let's not make it a campaign ad, but let's go ahead and try to address this. Lankford has really tried. I think he got censored, or they're going to censor him, the Republican Party over there, for just trying to be
Right. He was censored by the Oklahoma
this.
Republican Party. I interrupted you there, but continue that.
Well, again, we got to fix this and we got to work on this. It's not only what we're doing here at the U.S. border, the 1 yard line, but also keep in mind the numbers were so high in December, 302,000. I disagree with those. That's bad. We shouldn't have that. Yeah. But now they've gone down. Why have they gone down? Because now we got Mexico doing its job, and we got to make sure that Mexico continues doing its job and then change some of the policy. We need to not only invest money at the U.S. border, but we got to change the policy and make sure that we address this immigration flow that we're seeing right now that's out of control.
Well, many point to this plan, sir, and say it doesn't solve the problem. It still allows, even though the president would promise that if it passed, he would shut down the border that very day. It doesn't shut down the border. He still would allow up to, 5,000 to get into this country each day. Now, they're quibbling over that number, but it's still a lot higher than the 1,000 a day that were coming in that had the likes of Jeh Johnson, his predecessor, saying unsustainable.
I support changes in policy. I certainly support putting some monies on border security, but we got to make sure we do this and put the money in the right places. We got to have detentions, hold people. We got to make sure we deport people because most of the people are not going to qualify. 87 to 90% of the people asking for asylum are going to be denied once they go in front of a judge. So
and then
let's
what
look
happens?
at
when that happens, Congress, I'm sorry to jump on you, sir, and they're denied asylum, they get to stay here. Well, right? I mean, so to deport them is a big leap. Now, I don't know what this measure they're working on will address that. But that's part of the problem right there, asylum and what are the cases that get adjudicated, right? A lot do not.
You're right. Yeah, and that's why I'm a big believer in making sure that we detain people at the border, give them the quick hearing because most of them, 87, 90% are going to be rejected, and then do everything at the border and deport people like Secretary Jeh Johnson used to do. Okay. We got to make sure there's repercussions at the border.
All right. Thank you very much. Good seeing you, Congressman, again.